Michael is dressed as a man who knows what money is about. I am dressed like a Canadian children's author. I do not know what money is about. But,
which is why it was a great partnership.
Yes, it was a great partnership. But yes, we are here today to talk about money. I'm going to ask Michael to explain the economy and what we mean by the economy while I do a drawing of the sort of schematic you can find in the book. Deal?
Deal.
Go for it.
Okay, good stuff. Anyway, thank you very much for having us here. We really, really appreciate it. And I really appreciate that Kevin brought me to this project in the first place. My full-time vocation, by the way, is that of a teacher. I teach at community college. So I think that a lot of the things that I encounter are really similar to what you encounter, just the kids just tend to be a little bit taller and heavier than the people you're dealing with. But I really think there is a natural curiosity what drives the economy and why things cost as they do. I mean, I'm sure that all of us have the sensation when we go into a store. And, you know, I think about this quite frequently when I go into, for example, a grocery store. Like, I think that fresh fruit is, like, ridiculously underpriced. And then I look at something like canned goods, and I would never pay $3 to buy a can of this particular, like, canned lima bean or something. But somebody is or isn't there, or wouldn't be there. And clearly they're selling the fresh fruit that I love at a profit or they wouldn't be doing it. And they're selling the lima beans at a profit or they wouldn't be doing it. So what the vision that sort of Kevin had, and we sort of came together on this, is, well, why don't we sort of explain why the lima beans are costing $3? Why don't we try to explain to the best of our ability why the fresh fruit costs what it does?
The whole book opens up with a kind of a timeline, which is like the history of money. And this is another facet of the book, is that it's not just mathematical formulae. So if you're a kid who might look even in the simple equations that we have in the book and might sort of gloss over a little bit. This was me, by the way, at that age. There are other accesses. There are interesting bits, like, for example, salary comes from the Roman term for salt, because that was what people were paid in, salt. So that when they, again, eventually got jobs and that stuck, that word stuck. Those are the sorts of interesting tidbits that are also spiced throughout the book, so that there are all sorts of different entry points into this discussion.
The market, basically, there's this mass kind of entity out there, like this ether called the market. And the market is always wrong and it's always right. It just is what it is. And the prices find their equilibrium by the cost structure, by the profit structure, by people are willing to spend, by people are willing to put their efforts out for. And I think that's really what ultimately what this book takes us and takes your children and the kids you're going to work with down that journey.